Welcome to It's a Woman's World, a show which discusses any and all topics under the sun from a woman's point of view. Today's moderator, Dr. Susan Strauss.
Hi, and welcome to It's a Woman's World. I'm Susan Strauss, and we're going to be talking about something that we all enjoy, which is food. Only we're not talking about eating it so much as talking about cooking it. And these women that are joining me today, for the most part, like to cook. So, who do we have? We have Dara Beavis. Hi, Dara.
Hi, Susan.
Glad you're here with us
Thank
today.
you.
And Nadia Jordana. Now, Nadia, she's even cooked on the show a couple of times. And Ali Nathani.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, Susan.
Hi. Well, glad you're here too. And Ali, of course, is usually the main muck on here, the main host. And we have Janita Flowers, and she likes to bake cookies. So, ladies, I want to hear, how in the world do you get off on cooking? And because that's just not my bag. Nadia, I'm going to ask you because I know you've done so much of it. Tell me about it.
I do love it. I like to cook. I like to bake. I like to develop recipes. For me, it's a very creative thing. And I think Ali feels the same way because I watched you cook, and it's about the creativity, bringing in the ingredients. I love to eat too, but
Me too.
the cooking is such a creative thing, and I think if you feel it, it's like giving birth to something that the other people are going to come and eat and enjoy. And I just like all aspects of it. I have done a couple cookbooks, and I'm going to show you. This is not to have these sold because they're out of print. But if you like to do it, there are places. Google online and say, make your own cookbook, publish your own cookbook. And that's what these are. This is, churches use this format
sure.
and this method. I did this years ago. You can't get it anywhere. This is the last copy in the whole entire world.
Wow.
And then another place online, this one was Lulu. And I did this for my mother.
Oh.
And I
that's
took my
such a
mother's
great
signature
idea.
dishes,
Oh, how
put them
cute.
into a template.
Oh, I love the pictures.
Chose
I
a
do too.
hardcover, used family pictures.
I love lasagna.
And now I've got my mother's my mother's recipes for the family. And we only printed 10, 15, 20 copies, but wow.
It was
what
enough.
a great thing to do for the family.
That's amazing. And
Yeah,
that
so
even
cool.
takes me to why I like being in the kitchen, because it's about memories. And so I haven't even thought about creating a cookbook like that.
Yeah.
But if you think about most cultural backgrounds in this country, everybody has something that's special to their family, their family traditions, or their cultural upbringing. And so being able to share that, at the work potluck, or when you have children of your own and you get to bring like that signature dish at the holiday function. So being in the kitchen for me is really about creating those memories. And so then when I can replicate the recipe, it's then about sharing those memories. And of course, they're always going to be precious because they're about your family.
Yeah.
I was talking to my aunt the other day, and we were talking, my grandmother was a phenomenal cook, and she loved to bake breads and sweet rolls and all of that. She could look at a recipe and say, I think that's got too much salt in the recipe. And I can't even imagine how somebody could know that by looking at a recipe. And of course, I can't imagine why anybody would even want to know it.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I think there are also people, so my dad, for example, can also taste something that you've made, and it can tell you immediately what's wrong with
Oh,
it.
Yeah. really?
Or what's
That's
right
such a
with it.
gift.
Or
I
what
mean,
it
it's such a
needs.
gift. Yeah. Or the balance, when we need to balance flavor between sweet and salt.
Or if there's a
for
little
Yes,
too much
yes,
something.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, and some of that's based on our genes and how our tongue and our taste receptors
Yes.
perceive different flavors.
Yeah.
Now, you all also have families, even if it's only a husband, or you've got your kids and you've got a little of both, and you've got one in the oven, but you've got a husband too. And don't you think that makes a difference? I mean, my kids have blown the coop. I'm not married anymore. Who wants to sit around and cook for me?
But you cooked in the old days.
Oh, yeah, you should hear what my kids have to say about that. Mother, I remember how you used to make da-da-da-da-da-da-da. We hated it.
Oh, that's funny.
That's me. My mom was not the best cook. So
Well, they didn't say I was a bad cook now. They just said there were certain dishes.
there were
But
certain
yes,
dishes.
yes, okay.
What's interesting is I used to teach some cooking classes.
You
and,
did?
Yes, and I haven't done it in a while, but to seniors, a population of seniors, and We opened them up to using fresh garlic, some fresh basil. I had one gentleman who was 79 years old who had never used fresh garlic in his life. And he said because his wife doesn't like garlic. And so he did it in a cooking class. He ate it. He couldn't believe it.
The
he
difference.
was so
Loved it.
moved.
Yeah.
What was the dish?
It was, we did some kind of a pasta dish, and then we topped it with some fresh herbs. And so just awakening and seeing that movement in him at that age, and just, he said, well, I'm gonna go home and do this. She doesn't have to eat it. I'm gonna eat it. So it was
There's
really
garlic
beautiful.
everywhere in this kitchen now.
Probably. Right. Let me not go near him for a while. But
So the garlic, and I think when you've cooked here, you've used garlic.
We'll be doing that today.
Yes.
Okay, good, good. What all can you use it in to add that extra flavor?
Almost everything.
I was gonna
Almost
say.
Really?
It depends on how much you use, but you know, like the stir-fry dish, Ali and I will be showing you in a little bit. Uses a little bit of garlic, and if you don't use too much, it's not overpowering.
But you have to cut it.
Yes.
See, that's more work.
So when I was working with a recipe developer when I was working on the nutrition information for my cookies, and she said to me, cooks know how, chefs know why. So, because chefs are trained how to prepare meals, so they know why you pair this with that, and how. But when you talk about the average home cook, like my grandmother, and like you were saying about your father, they just know how to do it. They can tell you,
instinct.
yes. And so cooks know how because they are just sort of connected with their food. They take charge of their food.
It's a feel
Right.
My husband is that way. It's so amazing to see him in the kitchen. He has a restaurant, and before he had his restaurant, he would make the most amazing dishes at home. I hardly get any of those dishes these days.
Oh, shame on him.
So he is Jamaican, so his restaurant's called Pimento Jamaican Kitchen, and he tested all the recipes at home, and what you're saying is true. He would throw this stuff together, and he would taste something and say, oh, it needs sugar, and I'd say, why would the sauce need sugar? It's supposed to be savory. And then he would throw the sugar in, and it would taste so good.
because he knows why he's a chef.
Why. Yeah.
And then
I
you
would
get the
never know.
combination of the sugar with the
flavors,
garlic and
and
the
the
herbs.
spices. Jamaican food has a lot of spice, so sometimes that sugar kind of cuts it a little
Yes.
bit.
Oh,
He just
okay.
and soy sauce. He loves adding soy sauce to things.
Really? What does
Yeah.
that do?
I don't know.
It's a
Susan, I don't
salt, but
know.
it's a mellowing of the flavors
Yeah.
too. It's just another layer of flavor.
Yeah.
Or it
Yeah.
can heighten it, just
Yeah.
you often
Yeah.
see a teaspoon of soy
And
sauce
that's
in
it.
something.
Well, one of the things that I had read is they said if you looked at food as a gift that you're giving to whomever is going to be eating it, that you are nurturing their body.
You are.
And that it's that
Yeah.
gift. It's almost a healing
Yeah.
kind of thing,
Yeah.
and because you love whoever it is that you
Right.
are serving.
Right. Well,
I kind of liked that idea.
Yeah,
That's a great idea.
I resonate with that a lot.
You do?
I do. I feel that very much. Like when I'm having people over and cooking for them, and then having them come to the table. And I think these days too, in such a fast-paced world, you can go to your freezer and make anything. You can
Yes.
process food, but there is something different when somebody cooks it for you. I believe.
It is
We get
fresh.
less of
I
that
agree.
these days.
Yeah.
Now, so let me ask you, now you're having a number of us to your home
Yes.
for an Indian
excited.
dinner.
That.
Great.
So if you look at your Indian culture, how does the Indian culture address cooking? I mean, what, do they have a different viewpoint on it, or tell me
so
about
it's an
that?
interesting question. So in our culture, typically, and India is made up of many cultures, so I can speak to the one that I'm from. So it is about also respect and love. And so if you have, let's say you invite your family over, it is important to cook dishes and enough dishes that shows that you've taken the time and the care. And also, traditionally in our culture, the men would get up and eat first. They would take the food first. We have serve it potluck style, and then usually it's or men or the kids, or it's the eldest person always takes the food first.
Oh,
That's nice.
Whether it's the grandmother or the grandfather, but it's always, so my dad is the eldest
Interesting.
brother in his family, so he takes the food first, and then it's typically the women who do it last. So you might say, well, that wow, that sounds not very empowering, but there's a beauty about that too. And I don't feel not empowered, or I don't feel like there's something wrong with that when I do
It's
that.
a tradition.
It's a tradition, and it's about, I created that food out of my love, and that's my role, and I'm feeding you, and there's a beauty about that.
Yeah. What about the Black culture? Is there traditions in the Black culture regarding cooking, I guess, in particular?
I don't think there's a Black culture. Maybe African American kind of, but there's no real Black culture.
Okay, African American. Maybe I used the
Right,
wrong.
but a lot of it stems, I mean, it's just kind of like any other culture. There's so many different facets. A lot of our ancestors that were first generations here, and we're sort of second, third, it may be Southern. But it may be some
My
families.
case, it's Southern.
It's
So that's
Southern?
mine too.
It is, okay.
Okay.
I think overall, though, when you were talking about some of the traditions in your family, and you know, I think of some of my family. Really, when you pass down your culture, a lot of it comes through food. So what we normally do as a family, whether it's serving the elders first,
Yes.
whether it's certain kinds of spices, a lot of how we then pass on our family norms and traditions is through food, because
Okay.
there's so much order around it,
And you learn so much about
and it's celebrated.
Yeah, I got a chance this last holiday season to have Grammy show me and my brother Matthew how to make her crab cakes, which was a big deal because a lot of times I think in our culture too, some of the recipes are coveted secrets.
Ah.
And so,
It is important to share and learn from the grandmothers.
and it was so fun just to just even the little details, and maybe because I love writing and I'm a writer, I noted all the little things like how she stores her onions in mason jars, for example, and she uses crushed crackers in her crab cake. So I think you learn in African American culture a little bit about not just the food, but the stories that go with it.
Okay.
And how she learned how to do it and who taught her. And so I think that's really interesting and really fun.
I don't know if I learned any of that from a typical white culture. Did you, Nadia? I
They're
don't
so
know.
different, and it's more, I would say, more regional.
Okay,
I've
that might be-
certainly been in Minnesota so many years that even though my heritage is Eastern European and Italian and Slovenian, and there are some recipes like that that have come down, Minnesota comes to the surface, and casseroles are big.
Yeah, casseroles.
And so that's tended to really colored the way I've learned to cook in the last 20 or 30 years. So.
Well,
But
and
think about the church basements too, like with lefse
yeah.
and
I love
lutefisk. Like I'd never heard of those things until like you get in the workplace. But that's really popular in a lot of Lutheran churches
I
in
love
Minnesota.
lefse.
I don't know if that's in the region or something.
I think of that as up north, I guess.
No, they do it here in the Twin Cities at a lot of churches.
Yeah.
I
They
just
do?
didn't grow up
I've
in
heard
that.
that too.
Yeah, so I mean, like those are
I
some of the
haven't had
traditions
those there.
around food, even in European cultures that have been in Minnesota or this country for a long time.
Well,
So
Germany, I think we
Yeah.
have German, some of the foods are German and the Scandinavian, as you've mentioned. And I know travel, when you go to the other countries, I enjoy tasting their foods. It's interesting to see what all they do with it and how they prepare the food so differently.
Right.
And sometimes there are certain days of the week too that I grew up where on Fridays, for example, we'd have fish.
Oh,
Even though
yes.
we weren't Catholic.
Yes, the schools would never serve anything but fish on Fridays. Now I think they do. I don't
It gets
know.
to be a habit even if you're not Catholic.
Yeah, it just
It's
did.
and it's a fun
a good
tradition
thing.
in our
And
family.
food can be a safe way to talk about race and culture
Oh, I
and differences and norms.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it's
There was
sort
always
of
music
yes,
playing.
yes,
It's a fun way.
right.
To do
So
it.
the guards are sort of let down, and we're all coming
I
because
like
if you share
food
food with
and
someone,
laughing.
they're usually you have some sort of relationship, even if
You
it's a
do.
work relationship, whatever.
Yes.
So the guards are down, and now I can share with you why this is so important to my family or to my cultural background.
Well, and with that, we are going to just take a slight pause because these ladies are going to teach me how to cook, which I don't like to do.
So excited.
Yes.
Hi, welcome back to It's a Woman's World, and we are going to cook. Nadia and Ali are going to give me a cooking lesson on, what is it called again?
Pasta fresca.
See, I can't even remember the name of the dish. So we are going to do this.
right.
And I'm not a cook, so tell me what to do, my friends.
Okay. Start with the oil.
And how much do I put in?
A drizzle.
A drizzle.
A drizzle.
Just eye it.
Is that a
Little
drizzle?
more.
Little more. Big drizzle.
Big drizzle, yeah. Okay, you
Okay.
can always add more if you need it.
Okay, so there's that.
There's our spatula here.
We've got a utensil
Okay,
right here.
Okay.
All right.
I would say onion.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, do these have to be cut any
You
smaller or
can cut
not?
them a little smaller. We've got it started. You can cut them just a little bit smaller.
Okay.
This is just a white onion that we peeled.
Plain white onion, yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you one thing. You've got a nice sharp knife. That might
I
be one
sharpened
reason
it.
I don't cook at home. I don't have sharp knives. Wow, what a difference.
Just a handful
There
of
you
that
go.
in there.
Look at that.
Ooh,
Look at that
nice and
sizzle.
hot.
Look at that
Ooh,
sizzle.
we're gonna
smell
smell
really
it.
good.
We're gonna smell it.
Nice sizzle.
And that's good. Now, we're
Okay.
gonna teach you how to do, well, we won't do garlic just yet because the pan is real hot. The garlic will come in later. I would say there's a little kale here, a couple of quick chops, and just toss it right in there.
Just some chops.
Just as rough as it can be, just chop, chop.
Like this?
Yeah.
Now,
That's
what's
good.
kale gonna do for it? I mean, I know
Color-
it's healthy, but,
Color and nutrition.
okay, and I mix it in again?
Here's some rosemary. Throw it in whole because you'll kick it out full.
The rosemary goes in whole?
Throw it in.
Really? Looks like the part of a Christmas tree.
The beauty
Merry
of
Christmas.
Pressure. Merry Christmas.
Oh my gosh, you throw this big hunk of stuff in there,
Yeah,
huh?
pick it out before you serve it.
'Cause that's
And
just for
Ali's gonna
flavor.
show you how to
Oh.
do garlic.
Yeah.
Okay, now wait a minute, what kind of flavor does this rosemary give?
It's like a woodsy flavor.
It is a
Isn't
woodsy
Can you
flavor.
smell it? It's kind of coming. So
Yeah.
what we've
Okay.
got here is a pot of garlic that you can see Susan has. And so this is really how fresh garlic comes. That one fell out. But
Okay.
Susan's going to make this happen. So you're going to take your knife and just, you got it, press on it real
Press.
hard. You're going to feel it kind of release.
Oh,
yeah,
There
that's
you go.
okay.
That's perfect.
And
Then-
all of this goes in?
Or parts of it, make sure the dry skin doesn't go in, just the raw.
and it
part.
just
That's
releases
fine.
it from the skin. Look how
Yeah.
easy that was.
Oh, boy.
Good job.
That's fine. You're a pro.
Oh,
You
yeah,
are.
yeah,
There you
yeah,
go.
thank you. Okay, so you just, and you keep it in a big hunk like
Yeah.
that, huh?
And here are some capers.
Now, what are capers?
All right, just put like half a teaspoon roughly.
Oh my gosh.
But
Does
what are
that
they?
smell
Good.
If you think of capers, think of green olives. That's enough. Just put that in, they're strong.
That's
That's
it?
a pungent pickled flower bud
Oh, goody.
from the Mediterranean. We're doing
Okay,
Mediterranean.
this is Mediterranean,
Yeah.
okay?
Toss in some black olives.
How many?
Oh, you could put most of that in or all of it.
Yeah, I'd go for it all.
All
Why
right,
not?
we'll put it all in.
So,
You like olives?
I don't at all, but that's all right.
Too late.
Well, then never mind.
don't put any in.
Yeah, no, I don't like them either, but that's all right.
We'll eat around it.
Yeah.
That's right.
What do you think should be next, Ellie? Should the tomatoes or the basil?
I'd go tomatoes next.
Tomatoes,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So what do we do with
You would
these?
want to half those. So
Half them.
take the knife and half the tomatoes, just half it, toss them in as you go.
And how many of these?
And half. Just keep.
See the beauty of
We
cooking?
don't.
I was gonna say, that
Till it
is.
looks right, right?
Yeah,
Till it
until
looks
it
right.
looks right.
And tomatoes are going to release water, and then what's going to happen is your oil is still in there. So you want to, we're going to put the heat up just a little bit more so it keeps it sautéing, keeps it frying.
It looks Christmassy with
This is
the
gonna
red and
make a
green.
sauce.
It sure does.
It's gonna make a sauce?
Yeah, very light sauce.
This feels like the perfect weeknight dinner.
Yes, fast and easy.
And very healthy.
Yes. But if
Yes.
you did it with a cooker like this at a table with your guests, what a fun.
Oh,
that
yeah,
would be fun
what a great
company
idea.
To do.
a
And
great
no
idea.
stress on the cook. Well,
How you doing there?
Yeah, it depends who the cook is. Now, that's not enough tomato, you think, or what?
a couple more.
Couple more.
Well, you give it a toss, I bet.
I love cherry tomatoes. Me too.
Okay, that's.
I didn't really appreciate them until I became an
Here
adult.
we
so
go.
I think you're, yeah, the thing I've been craving all right
Look
now.
at that.
That's a good thing to crave.
Are you guys smelling this? Because I didn't
yeah.
smell it yet.
Yes.
Oh, it smells fabulous.
All that rosemary. Can you
I can
smell it?
smell
Isn't
that
that incredible?
rosemary, yes.
Now it's probably time for, what should it
Do
be?
you want to do salt and pepper? Do you
Yeah,
want to do
that'd be
these?
fine.
We've got some Italian seasoning
All of
here.
those things.
So,
Okay,
why don't we do
so.
some salt?
Pinch of salt.
A pinch. You really want me just to
That's
take a
about a
pinch?
pinch.
You
This
can-
is a pinch?
Yeah.
Really?
It's like quarter of a teaspoon.
Big fingers.
Yeah, okay, whoops, excuse me, now
And then
what?
how about some black pepper? Black
All right,
pepper.
and how much of that?
Grinder. I'd say 2 or 3 grinds, 3 or 4. Yeah. And then we've got some.
Okay.
We like these flavors, right? Let's go for some Italian flavors.
Italian and,
And you could use any seasoning that you want. This is just a mix of Italian.
all right, tell me when.
That's about right.
Okay.
All right. And then I would say give it a
Now, do
toss.
you ever add, like any chicken in here or
You
anything?
could. You could. We aren't today, but you sure could. Chicken or shrimp would be good.
See, in my mind, I think we could add a tad more oil. Because,
Okay, sure.
now that's from my way of
No,
thinking,
that's
but I'm
your
not
right.
go
May I
ahead.
add it for you?
Yes,
You
thank
tell
you.
me when, okay?
Oh,
You have
yeah,
the feel
well.
for it, that's right.
See, this is the
That's good.
Look
Thank
at
you.
you, giving cooking instructions already.
That's the beauty of
Yeah.
cooking. That's
Yeah.
right.
I think we
Probably
need it
about
just a
time
little
for the
bit.
pasta.
And then you just add
Okay.
the pasta, huh?
All right, here we've got some pre-boiled pasta.
Wow, you're right, this isn't too bad. Okay.
It'll be good. Have you add that in?
All of this?
I think it's about the right amount, yes.
And if people are trying to duplicate this recipe, they can use any kind of pasta,
Any
correct?
kind of pasta, and you
Whole
can
wheat
vary the
pasta.
amounts, you can change out all of these ingredients to whatever, it kind of, that's good.
That's good,
That's
yeah.
good.
Okay.
All right, give that a toss.
Oh, look at how pretty. I love the colors.
Really simple,
Yeah.
but yet tons of flavor.
And while that's warming, you can, yeah, that's okay. Then you can put a little basil in there.
Okay, I was gonna say, you know, Ali, this, whatever you call this, kind of a
Induction
21st
cooker? Yeah.
century hot plate is kind of nice. You could
Yeah.
sit down to do the
You
cooking.
sure
It
could.
would be fun.
Yeah.
You have to
Okay.
get your ingredients first, but.
Well, yeah, but still,
You
it's quite
could.
nice. And do what with this
Oh,
now?
take your knife and kind of bunch it and roll it up and
Just bunch it and
see
then
if
do
you
some-
can chiffonade
Yeah,
What's that?
thin slices.
you got it. There you go. Watch your fingers.
Yeah, thin. Watch your fingers, yeah. That's as close to a chiffonade as I've ever
That's
seen.
beautiful.
You're
Look at that
pro,
word.
Susan.
Yeah.
Yeah, chiffonade. New word.
You can also say cut. No.
Cut, shred.
Julianne.
Julienne, that was the next word. And then toss that in and stir it in. Basil, you
Some of
don't
these are
want
a little
to.
big, but is that
That's
okay?
okay, they'll shrivel. You don't want to cook it too much because then you lose that fresh basil flavor.
Okay.
Aroma.
You want the cheese now?
I was gonna say, now we have Parmesan cheese here, but Susan, I would say, since we have vegetarians here and you're the chef, I'm not a vegetarian. When I take a portion, I would sprinkle it on my portion. But because we have vegetarians here who don't all eat cheese, I think our producer is one, we will serve this on the side rather than tossing it into the dish. But
Okay.
if you know your own family, you could put that right into the dish and have it melt in there if you wanted to.
All right, and do you pull the Christmas tree out?
Now you could take the Christmas tree out. Very good.
Okay.
You've already learned.
And I just wanted to say, I didn't know this was Parmesan cheese because I've never seen it grated quite like this.
You've seen the finer
Yeah, where you
brown.
sprinkle it in.
That's
So
okay
it's
too, but this is fresher.
a little fancier.
Okay.
So this is it?
Now I would say you can plate it up, this is a serving platter. Or you can pour it out of
If I
that.
hold it up for you,
Sure.
would that be all right?
Yeah,
And
sure,
then you
sure.
can
Just scrape
kinda
it out.
glide it in.
Pour and scoop.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on just a
You
second.
bet.
Look how beautiful that looks.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, the colors are
Even though I'm
nice.
not an olive person, the olives do
Yes.
make
They
that
do
pop.
add some.
Thank you.
Looks beautiful. I'm not sure where the camera is here, but we're gonna be close
Let me just
by.
get some of the rest of this.
And set this on so that we can see it.
Wonderful.
Look how beautiful.
Look at
Yes.
Susan!
And we even have a little time to take a taste.
Yes,
There's
I
some
think
bowls
we
there and
should.
some forks and
See how it
you
goes?
guys
Now put a
can
little bit in
try
each
and
one.
taste. Yeah.
I think you should try it first.
Yes,
Susan.
Susan, here you go.
Okay,
Yes, you
thank
should
you.
try it
Thank
first,
you.
Susan.
All right.
Do you want some cheese on top of yours, Susan?
I'll pass, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. You need
Well,
that.
I'm
And we'll do
anxious
one
to
for our
taste it.
producer too.
Oh, yeah.
Give him a little extra.
What about for you, Natty? Well,
And did we miss anybody?
You.
Oh, okay.
why don't you
just-
take this one?
Okay.
And we'll save a little for
All right.
Mike.
Yes.
I think it turned out quite well.
I'll
Anybody
do
want
Parmesan cheese.
All right, go ahead.
See how gorgeous
I'm
that
okay.
looks like.
I'll just
I'll
sprinkle.
use this spoon
I'm
here.
a cheese person. Thank you, Susan.
And- oh, I almost forgot to taste
Taste
it.
it.
I know how good it's going to be.
All
It's
right.
very good. I can't really take the credit for it, though. You ladies are the ones that brought all the
delicious.
You did the
ingredients.
work.
Delicious.
This is it. This is the flavor. I love the rosemary.
Great done.
It's not something I always use. It just depends on what I have.
Fabulous.
And Ali cooks
Very
like
good.
this very much because you've done so many things on the show that are
Yeah.
so similar.
It's so fun
in
to
this
do
technique.
this because of the flavors and just
I
when
do
you
like
eat
the
it,
flavors.
it's so fresh, right? So clean, healthy.
Yeah, it's very good.
And even the black
can't even
olives.
taste the kale.
These aren't the strong ones.
I didn't eat the black olives. I bet you,
So would you do it again, Susan?
yes,
Would you duplicate this?
yeah, I
You
would.
could do this.
Yeah, anybody else want some? I'll dish it up.
I'll take some
Go
more.
for it, and I think we
Thank
have to reward Susan. We have a little crowning to do here, don't we?
We do.
Susan,
We need
Yes.
to.
this was an A+.
Oh, my goodness
Done
sakes,
well.
thank
You
you.
were showing you
Oh,
with a little
thank you. I get a chef hat.
Well,
Thank
Oh, wait.
Congratulations, Susan.
you. I had such good teachers. Thank you kindly.
Thank you, Susan, for being a good
This
sport.
is great.
This is delicious.
Yeah, didn't it turn out good?
It did
So
turn
now
out
just
good.
add guests. You have
Yes.
the meal, now you just have to have guests.
Yes,
The only
That's all
ingredient
it
we
is.
need.
Sign me
Yeah.
up.
very
And the
good,
guests.
very good.
So what other ingredients would we use? Would any of you use? What other things would, if you were changing out a few ingredients, what would you do?
I think I would change up, maybe add a red sauce and maybe chicken in there.
Nice.
Now, some people don't like rosemary. My husband doesn't.
Okay.
Oh, I love it.
What would you use instead of the
well,
rosemary?
some people just like that clean flavor of the basil and the garlic, so you
I
can
agree.
smoke that.
Yeah.
I would throw in some spinach.
Oh,
Spinach would be
yes.
good, yeah.
Yes.
Yum.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like the idea of the chicken.
I think spinach would be good. Chicken. I like the idea of shrimp, but you could also do pork.
Yeah.
I've seen
some
someone
Italian
do it
sausage
one
would be
time
fun.
with thin steak strips. If you really want to go the meat route, you could do that. And it can also be served on the side. You could put the meat on the side. See, if you've got a group of people and some of them are vegetarians,
Sure,
you could
sure.
put the meat off to the side,
Good.
and they can put it together the way they
Yeah.
the way they want to.
You could even do seared tofu with this too.
Oh,
I bet
tofu!
you could,
Yes, that's an.
You know, and I've recently had tempeh.
Oh, yeah.
And that's really good. And you could actually stir fry that in
Yeah.
there as well. So
Now,
people don't.
I've heard of tempeh. What is tempeh?
So it's soybean that's prepared, so it becomes like sort of like a meat substitute kind of thing.
Texture than
Yeah.
tofu.
And you do the same thing you would do with
Isn't it
meat.
good?
You could
Yeah.
make it like taco meat,
Yeah.
but there's
Yeah.
also black bean tempeh as well.
Ooh, that could be fun. I
So-
would do a lot more cheese. I'm a cheese person.
Yeah,
so
I think I
feel
would.
Oh,
like
extra
I would-
cheese would be good, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe some some fresh
I think
mozzarella.
we're down to our last few seconds. Wasn't this fun?
It was fun. Thank you very much for
All right.
teaching me.
We're gonna do this again.
Okay,
Suzanne.
that sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, come back to the kitchen with us.
Yes,
All
okay. And thank you for joining us at It's a Woman's World. Bye-bye. See you next time.
All right.